Hi, I'm Dr. Mike.
And I'm Gabby.
And this is NFGeeks. Gabby, welcome to NFGeeks. So happy to see you. This is great.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. We always need more women to come on NFGeeks. So it's great to have different genders come on. So I'm glad, finally got brave and came on here.
Yep.
Yeah, so welcome.
Thank you.
So this is your first time on. This is your first episode.
Yes, it is.
So Gabby is an INTP. All right. It took a while for us to get there, but
finally realized that.
Yep, it's official. Okay. She's an INTP. She was typed by a professional. That would be me. So,
of course.
All right. So what I want to do, and this is what I always do when I have a new person, is kind of talk about the general values and orientations of their temperament, which means intuitive thinkers, NT. So what I would, because we've already had a lot of INTPs on. So what I want to do is talk about NT values, and then you just kind of talk about where they are in your life and when they happen and what you think about them, that kind of thing. Sounds good?
All right.
Okay. All right. So one of the things about NTs that they're known for is that they're skeptical, meaning that they don't just believe things right up front. You know what I mean? They sort of question and they're skeptical. You kind of have to prove it to them first. They don't just immediately take it at face value.
Yeah, I never take anything at face value. I'm a very critical thinker.
Oh, wow.
And I think it's very important, actually. You need to look at things critically, especially nowadays.
What are some times when your critical thinking comes up? When have you had to use this? Where is it in your life?
Can't really think of many places that it isn't, actually.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
anything particular in school or anything where it comes up?
History a lot, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Not so much like, mathematics and science, that's usually straightforward, but I do enjoy like history classes or like philosophy classes and things because I get to use that a lot more. Oh, good.
Have you ever had a time where people were giving you guff about it, where you were trying to be critical and people were sort of being like, oh, Gabby, shut up,
Yeah, I mean, I can get that sometimes, from friends and stuff. Like, some people might take it as me being mean, or,
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
sometimes, sometimes I can be mean about it, like, but I try not to be like, I try to use like my criticism like constructively. I don't try to like down anyone like with it.
Well,
try to be conscientious.
Well, that's a great thing to talk about because a lot of NTs are sort of seen by the other types as being insensitive, particularly NFs like myself.
Yes.
When the NT position is that they're not really being insensitive, they're really just trying to be critical thinkers and trying to problem solve, and you're really not trying to hurt people's feelings, but that you're not really thinking about feelings because you're trying to be logical. Does that seem to make sense for you? Does that happen?
Yeah, of course, just like every other NT, I think.
Is it? Let me ask you this: do you find at all that even though you're this critical thinker, that sometimes people don't take you seriously because you're a woman? Do you have any kind of chauvinistic thing goes on with you?
I mean, initially, yes. Like, of course, just because people stereotype,
In terms of gender?
Yeah, in terms of gender, race, whatever it may be. I mean, inequality is still very apparent in our society. But, I mean, after getting to know people, I never really felt like anyone drew, like, a judgment like that on me.
Well, that's good.
To like a negative extent, I'm always down for constructive criticism from other people too. So
that's a good point. NTs are known to, they're able to dish out criticism, but they're also able to take it because they're trying to reform and refine.
I like to hear it from other people.
Really?
Yeah.
Has there ever been a time where you were really sort of hurt, or like if you
no,
always be able to?
Not really. I mean.
Well, you couldn't even think of a time.
I don't think so. Like, I mean, no one's ever really said anything extremely negative to me. Like, I mean, my procrastination, I've been spoken to that about, you know.
Well,
like
that's
like
classic INTP.
But yes,
That's
I know.
right. You know.
But like, I mean, I know it's true, so I can't really get upset about it.
All right, that's
you
true.
know, I mean, if
Right,
they're
it's
just
not
stating the
emotional.
facts.
Right. See, that's very different from like Josh or myself. You know, as NFs, please, if somebody says, Mike, why are you wearing that tie? I'm like, what's wrong with this tie? I tied it myself. You know, just the little things I get hurt by. You know.
Yeah. Well.
All right. Another orientation about intuitive thinkers like yourself is the ability to sort of understand complex things, like complex systems, and able to sort of take that in and understand them. Where does that come up in your life?
I mean, with work and school, you know, just living, you're faced with complex situations.
If you're an NT, you are.
Well, anyone, even like moral situations, you know, which is, you're better in that department than me. I'm very indecisive about like moral judgments and things like that.
Actually, that's a perceiver thing. I'm better at talking about it than living it sometimes. You know, I can talk about it because I have it in my head, and I can, you know, I have it all organized. I can talk about it, but sometimes it's hard to.
I can advise people about like things like that, but I can never really go through it on my own. Mm-hmm. Like I give good advice supposedly, but when it comes to doing it on my own,
it's very practical, I'm sure, advice, and that actually leads to the next topic, which is that intuitive thinkers are known to be very practical in their thinking. They're not sort of pie in the sky, idealistic. They're not sort of you know, they're sort of into ideas and logic that works. You know, does it actually work in a logical, consistent way? Do you find that comes up for you?
I mean, like, I definitely like to, like, detour from, like, commonly walked roads, I guess, you know. Like, I would rather make up a new way, you know, of doing things. But, yes, the most efficient way, the most effective way. If I can find that, then that's what I'm looking for.
That made me think of something that INTP specifically of your type are sort of introverted thinkers, which means they do a lot of thinking in their head. You know, not necessarily talking thinkers, you know what I mean, where they're sort of talking out loud their thinking. It's sort of all going on in their head, very complex thoughts, or very, you know, lots of thoughts going on inwardly. Do you find that to be true?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot. I'm more of like a listener, like, that's the reason I've watched the show a lot, but I've never actually been on it, you know, because...
She kind of had to be dragged here today. Josh had to kidnap her. There was chloroform. It got ugly, right? You don't even know where you are. This is like a hidden location.
I have no idea. It's just, we're in a cave, you know.
Right. We took the bag off her head, and, right? That's what happened. Yeah. We want you to come on for a while, that's why. You know, it's been a long time.
I know,
so go ahead.
It has been a while.
You listener, you were talking about.
But you know, just hearing things makes like me sparks ideas, and I kind of go along with it. You know, from there. I mean, I can usually like speak my mind. You know, and like explain it in a decent way. Better at writing it. But I definitely like to kind of just take a step back and let it like sink in and rationalize it, dissect it a little bit. And
well, INTPs and your NF cousins, INFPs, are both notorious for being writers than they are speakers of what's going on. Do you find, do you ever find that you have more going on in your thoughts on your internal process than you can get out? Do you find you can get it all out, or is there always sort of a backup?
No, there's always a little bit like left behind. Yeah, that I just can't like really get out, or I'll be like, oh, you know, it'll get out sometime or something, you know. And I'm okay with it. I mean, it doesn't bother me. Right. You know.
You sort of accept it.
Yeah.
Do you ever get annoyed with others that they're not sort of understanding whatever it is you're talking about? Do you ever get, you know, especially when you're trying to be complex and problem solving?
No, I mean, I've never really had too many people completely misunderstand me, like if I really try to explain myself.
Well, that's good.
To them, because, like I said, I find myself, you know, very capable of just explaining it in a way people can understand. You know, like when it comes to my thought process and like my ideas, not so much my feelings or anything like that. But
well, that's because you don't have any.
Yeah, I
you're
know.
An Android, and you know.
Fembot.
That's right. We're gonna get to her fembot status, in a little while, you know.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that though. Let's get right into it. So one running joke I've had with you and Josh is that you're actually a robot. You're one of those fembots from, you know, from Austin Powers. And so first of all, what do you think about that? Do you have any thoughts about that? I know we've talked about this before, but.
I guess I'm pretty like cold.
Wow.
But.
So you agree then that you're an android and that you were programmed?
I don't like that you call me a fembot though. Like that's so weird. Like, or an android. Androids aren't even that cool.
Oh no, that's not true. There's lots of cool androids. You know. Hey, one of the most famous androids is from the silent movie Metropolis, and it's a female android.
Of
and
course.
It's a very famous science fiction movie, silent film from the 20s, I think it is.
Silent film.
Yeah, go check it out. Everybody check out Metropolis from the 1920s. It's a German film, but it's a silent movie.
Don't do it.
No, absolutely do it. It's a fantastic motion picture. Go see for yourself. You're in it.
Picture.
You're in it. All right, that's funny because, you know, I have Brad who's been on here, INTP. He sort of like wrestles with trying to be a human. Being an android. But I had another INTP recently, this guy Tom, and he says he wishes he was a robot. He says that's like his dream. He's the same type as you. And he says,
really?
Yeah, right. In fact, he's a cartoonist, and he always draws cyborgs. It's always like animals with like a mechanical arm and things like that. So, all right. So, but let me ask you this: would you rather be more feeling or more like? Okay, we won't say android. How about computer? Do you like? Is that better?
Well, I mean. Feeling is definitely important, of course, and sometimes I wish that I could be like a little bit more in tune with that. But I mean, as of now, I feel like having a more like logical way of thinking is like important, especially like being in such like a technological era and stuff like that. I mean, I guess it helps me a lot of times, but you know. You should always stay in tune with your feelings, you know, and your emotions.
Sure, hey, no argument there. I'm an NF.
I know.
Yeah. Do you find that hard, though? Do you find it harder? Do you find it difficult to stay in with your emotions or try to be in touch with them?
It depends, I guess. It really depends, like, with, like, the person.
Do you think people understand your feelings at all? Do you think they really get into where you're coming from on that
A lot
level?
of people, like, realize how I am. Like my immediate friends and family, they just like, they completely understand like that I'm not like the most sensitive person, you know, and they completely accept it. Like everyone I hang out with for the most part are like NFs.
Oh, I can see that.
So yeah, we're drawn towards the little feelers.
Yeah, it's maybe helping you compensate and helping you out, and you're helping them with your logic. I hope so.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Try.
You know. All right. One last thing is that NTs sort of pride themselves on being ingenious in terms of creating things and thinking things through. Do you think of yourself in that way?
I definitely like having rationality on my side. Because I see people like act impulsively on their emotions, and I'm just like, I can't. Like I'm sorry. Sorry,
Sure,
NFs.
ahead, no.
Sorry.
No,
but
all
like,
the NTs are like, yeah.
It like.
Go ahead. Yeah. Well,
I can't
disagree.
even deal with like it. I can't even deal with it. I'm like, what are you thinking? Like, I mean, I'm all down for like, yeah, follow your heart. You know, like it's great.
As an idea, but not
as an idea. Like that's for goals. Like don't always follow your heart. It sometimes will lie to you.
Oh my
You
God.
know?
That is such an intuitive thinking thing to say. Wow. See, it's true. You are an NT. Only an NT would even conceive of that. That's fantastic. You know, isn't that wonderful? You know? All right, so that's all the time we have, Gabby. So thank you very much for coming on. I know it's probably, as an introvert, very difficult, but you did it, and I'm very happy that you did it.
Thanks.
You know, so thanks. All right, Noah, take us out.